some lightning strikes, but he's looking at lightning strikes cloud to cloud, or cloud to ground that are out to the west. The cloud to cloud lightning is more likely where he is located. So this is just heavy rain right now coming in on Coffeyville at this particular moment. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for you guys. That'll be going basically till 3:30. We're at almost 3 o'clock right now. Going along this line and coming back down, you see from Highway 10 extending just now into western Nowata County, and we're getting heavy rain around the Dewey area, and we've already had heavy rain in and around Bartlesville. As we said, Vaughn's been in Bartlesville while that was coming through and had 50-mile-an-hour winds plus. Vaughn's a little bit further to the south on this leading edge, and we're in the warning still in Washington County near Oshaleta. Vaughn, you have a quick update for us? Are you there, Vaughn?
Yes,
okay,
I do. This whole edge of this line has got at least 50-mile-an-hour winds with it. You kind of judge the wind by how much it pushes you over into the next lane, and we're definitely getting 50-mile-an-hour gusts here, and all the way up to Bartlesville since I left Bartlesville. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some spots in there that exceed 50 and probably up to 60, but we'll keep tracking it, Travis.
All right. Thanks, Vaughn. Appreciate it. And a little bit further on down to the south, as we look at that, you can see back to where Darren is located in Sand Springs. I want to go to Darren for just a moment, and then we will check in again with Stacia and get a storm track of what's going on. Darren, if you would you give me a quick update on what's like in Sand Springs besides, the dreaded streets that are just still getting fixed there?
Yeah, Travis, we were able just to get right back in front of it right now, but as you come through that transition zone in that gust front, 55 to 60 miles an hour, Travis. Now, I was looking out my right window as we were traveling east on 412 here, and that lowering is still there between 412 and 51. It's probably just to the west of Sand Springs right now, Travis, but you can still see it. It's a very pronounced lowering that it's still there, Travis.
Yep, and we're looking at some velocity data right in that location as well, which indicates to us that there is a pretty good there's just a little kink in it at this particular moment. We're trying to keep eye on that particular area, not only because you said that, but also you're correct. There is just a little bit of an inflow into that area. So that is one of the things we'll keep an eye on. And as well, even though the thunderstorms are not that impressive, they still have a lot of wind associated with them because they're moving across the city very quickly. We are under a severe thunderstorm warning if you're just joining us in Tulsa. And Miss Stacia has some more information on where it's all headed. Stacia?
I do, Travis. I've updated those storm tracks for you, so let's take a look at links 3 here. This is going to be the storm track for the severe storms moving into the metro. Now, I've put them at about to the east around 47, 48 miles per hour. So take a look at this track now. It is moving in on Tulsa Hills as we speak. The Mounds area and Glenpool will be dealing with this about 3:03. Collinsville, you guys will be dealing with it about 3:04, and Owasso around the same time. ORU and Jinx, you should be dealing with this in about 4 to 5 minutes. So if you're waking up now, these are severe storms that are moving through the city. Very heavy rainfall, lightning, thunder, and some strong winds. And they'll Fortune Park, so if you are in the Tulsa Metro around La Fortune, that'll be 3:05. Tulsa Airport, Tulsa National around 3:04 to 3:05. So those are for the storms moving through the metro. And again, that's in the next here right now to about the next 5 minutes or so they'll be moving in. Now up to the north, I put a storm track on these, and this is storms around the Bartlesville, Dewey, Copan area, extending over to 169 and Nowata. So a track on this batch of severe storms. Delaware here about 3:02, Nowata 3:05, Talala and Oologah about 3:10, and then if we continue to track that out farther, Oologah Lake about 3:16, Chelsea 3:27, the Welsh area about 3:38. And again, these storms are moving just shy of about 50 miles per hour, but you do see some of those where portions of the storm are kind of bowing out. Those might be moving a little faster. But again, in the metro, this will be moving in. It's moving in on the west side of town now, closer to the east side of town. That's going to be probably within the next about 5, 6, 7 minutes or so. Bixby total time is going to be about 3:12, and Woodland Hills Mall about 3:10.
All right, some good rains hopefully coming out of this as well. So this is coming across the city. We do have our severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 3:30. We're just a little after 3 o'clock right now, and it's not a bad severe thunderstorm compared to some of the bad thunderstorms we've had. In fact, we had some really strong winds out in western Oklahoma with some of these storms when they were blowing and going across northwestern sections. Right now, you can see that this surging area, and it's not a real solid line like we're used to when we get a very significant line of severe to strong thunderstorms. Darren right now is on the east side of Sand Springs. I want to go back to Darren real quick because Darren is in the midst of some activity going on. Darren, what's your latest update?
Yeah, Travis, as you said, we were on the Sand Springs Expressway. The the lowering that we were talking about seems to be occluding more and more as we approach downtown Tulsa. I can still look out my window and still see remnants of it, but it is not as defined as it was a few moments ago, Travis.
All right, and Stacia just mentioned, too, a few power outages, not many, but a few showing up around Sand Springs, Prattville, because of what's going on. As we take a look at how that's moving in, let's zoom in a little bit closer, if you would, and then we're seeing this coming down Highway 75 right now and coming into the downtown area. So we'll keep track and see what the wind speeds are here as it comes into downtown. A little further to the south, JD's been watching what's going on here, and as this is flowing across the city from the south or from the west to the east, JD right now is on 117 just to the east of Sapulpa at this moment, and that's continuing to blow on up into the areas of 75. JD, do you have very much in the way of wind, lightning? What's going on? It looks dark, but that's about all I got for you.
Yeah, I would say the lightning's about the same, or maybe even less than what it has been. I'm not really receiving any, damaging winds or anything like that. 30, 35 miles an hour where I'm at, and I'm pretty much right under the edge of the shelf cloud. Just, moderate to heavy rain. A little bit heavier back to my west, but as I travel east, I'm, coming back out of it. So we're going to continue east. We'll let you know what we see, Travis.
All right, I appreciate it. So again, as we look at radar, we continue with moderate to heavy downpours of rain from where JD is located. This is coming across an area that kind of missed out on the real heavy rain last night. I know that I only had about a half inch of rain. Of course, the rain was probably falling in a very horizontal way because there wasn't much going vertical. And we also, this isn't a funny story, but I'm going to tell you this real quick. I had a four-wheeler, my kid's four-wheeler. I said, put it up, because it's going to storm. He doesn't put it up. The wind blows it into the pond in front of my house. And so I'm like, I didn't even know it was in the pond today because I thought he put it up. And then I had one of my daughters say, did you know the four-wheeler's in the pond? And so anyway, it was just like unbelievable. And that was really a nice four-wheeler. And I don't know, I think it could be wrecked. Anyway, so I'm going to go back to, that was a squirrel moment.
How are you going to get it out?
Believe it or not, I took a lasso and I roped the handlebars and I got that and I pulled it out.
Is there a video of this?
I do have a picture.
Okay.
Okay, I will show you that later. All right. I had to prove that because, yeah, they're going to laugh at me. Anyway, back into Tulsa right now. We are looking at heavy rain and thunderstorms coming into the city of Tulsa. Not a whole lot going on bad. Alan's keeping track of what's happening as well, and Stacia obviously has the information for us. But let's go down to a little bit further to the south and just see the south end a little farther because this is the weaker end down here. Now, the warning goes through into northern Okmulgee County and southern Tulsa County. And if you look at this, this really isn't. This is pretty weak. If you were looking at the meat, you want to look at where the magenta colors are and then extending back on up to red and magenta are the bigger colors. And once you get past magenta, it goes to black. And that's where you'd start to see some hail potential. This is the warning where it's located now. Then that's northern Okmulgee County, southern Tulsa. That includes Bixby, Glenpool, Broken Arrow, and then extends into Wagner County where Coweta is located. This will continue tracking east. Lightning strikes. Could you loop that just for a second? We'll just take a kind of a pulse of the what's happening right now. And so the lightning strikes as this coming across. Notice what's happening. So we're at 34. It was at 79. That gives you kind of a perspective. Even though the storm is kind of moving into this area, the lightning strike count should really be going up, not going down. But it's doing just the opposite. So we think this is on a real weakening trend as it's moving across the city. And so as that moves across the city, we anticipate that that could be a continuing event. Let's go farther to the north along this line. Shower and thunderstorm activity continues to track, and then right through Highway 75, also on the north side from Sperry, Skiatook area, and that's now spreading on over around Collinsville. Vaughn is on the north side of town at this moment. Vaughn, if you would you give us an update? Still strong winds for you?
Yeah, still battling these strong west winds. As we travel south on 75, but we're going to move east on Highway 20 towards Collinsville and keep up with this. Back to you, Travis.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it. So again, averaging about 50 miles an hour and just right at or just below severe criteria. Notice the lightning strikes, though, just to the west of Sperry. So there's pretty sustained lightning strikes in this area that are holding in there, and that goes from east side of Skiatook Lake to west of Skiatook and then extending back down to Sperry. A little farther to the north, the rain and thunderstorms are still going strong across this region, and especially across now northwestern and western portions of Nowata County. And lightning strike intensity also running from the east side of Bartlesville to just really west of Lenapaw. This is tracking to the east. We have Brandon still up in Coffeyville. Stephen, do we still have Brandon online? Is he still good? Because I'm going to talk to Brandon for just a minute as this comes in. So, Brandon, if you're with me, can you give me a quick update on what's like on the streets around Coffeyville?
Yeah, Travis, here in Coffee.
Storm track again across the region. You can see that we do have rain behind this, and so some of our models were talking about having some additional rain that gradually ends. So our morning team, our 6 in the morning team of Alan and Stacia will have to be spending a lot of time with that over the next couple of hours as we get into the morning hours. But you can see where JD, Vaughn, Darren are located as the leading edge of this coming across the Tulsa area. Further to the south, not quite as intense, but we do have the potential again right in this leading edge of severe thunderstorms. And when you look down to the southwest, now extending across southwestern Creek County and now western Okfuskee County, this is going to be blowing and going for a little bit longer, and there could be localized heavy downpours of rain, some gusty winds 40 miles per hour if you're waking up right now. No severe weather in this area. What's that, Darren? Okay, let's go back to Darren, downtown Tulsa, with an update. Darren, what do you have for us there?
Yeah, Travis, we're looking back towards downtown right here along 244. And, you know, when we last spoke to you, we were out there by on the Sand Springs Expressway. And that, excuse me, that lowering was trying to break up. Now, as it was coming across downtown proper, that lowering got more organized. It was very crisp and stuff. Now, as you see in the video there, it is breaking back up. So the pattern has been, you know, organized, diffuse, organized, more in that diffuse stage again. But we'll keep watching this as it travels easterly across the city on 244, Travis. Back to you.
All right, I appreciate it very much. So that line continues, and you can see kind of the leading edge of that, and Darren's right in that, and you can see some of that bulging across eastern Tulsa now to really a 169. Some of the strongest winds are where Vaughn is located, back into Skiatook, and I don't know if we have our Skiatook cam available. Yeah. You have it up? Wow,
yeah, it's they take weather 11.
Okay, if you can. Grab weather 11.
I'm going to try to zoom
and then we're going to also then after that, Stacia's going to have an update on storm or on our storm chances as far as going to the east of us. Our warning continues in effect. Do we have weather 11?
We have weather. The control room can pull up weather 11.
Weather 11. Okay. So this is looking. Do you know what direction that's looking at? All I see is lots and lots of water.
There's a lot of lightning too.
A lot of lightning coming out of that. So this is Skiatook where the strongest winds are. If you can, I don't know if you can. Yeah. Can you drop that down into the parking lot of the casino if it's possible?
Trying to. There you go.
We can just kind of see if there's a possibility of
sideways rain.
Yeah, and we can see that just kind of happening now. And there we go. Yeah, there we go to the left a little bit more, and we should be getting that. Looks.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks like pretty good shot of heavy rain, thunder, lightning. So if you're waking up in Skiatook, this is what you're getting.
It really is sideways rain. Look at it.
Looks like snow. Just a little bit of, not that much. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to wish it snow about when 100 degrees come. Hey, Stacia, if you would, could you take us through storm track, and then we'll go back and check out a few more things.
I can, Travis. I do have a new track for you on those storms that are moving through the metro. So we have heavy, severe thunderstorms. Now we're going to take a look at Lynx 3 because that's where my storm track is located for you. All right, here we go. So the storms moving through the metro now. The leading edge of that, the rain is moving over towards 169, Owasso, Tulsa International, and then through the east sides of town all the way down to about Bixby. This is a storm track, and again, I did put it at about 50 miles per hour. So the Bixby area should be here in the next 5 minutes or so. Catoosa will be about 316. Broken Arrow also around 316. NSU BA, that's going to be about 320. Claremore, you guys will be dealing with these storms around 320 as well. So they are moving to the east and about 50 miles per hour. They'll be in Pryor probably around 341 to 345 and Choteau about 344. So I did put a track on those storms in the metro. Up to the north, the line of severe storms continues. So we'll track this really quickly for you. The leading edge has crossed over 169, is moving right along Highway 10 over towards Sanders. So just a quick track on this. Foyle about 324, Chelsea also at 324, Welsh 336, Chautauqua about 340, and Adair around 340 as well. So if that continues on track there, moving off to the east at about 50. And then again back into the metro, it's moving near 169 now, and it will continue moving off to the east towards Verdigris, Catoosa, BA, Coweta, Claremore as well.
Okay, thanks, Stacia. Appreciate that. Also, if we can, we'll get the Owasso cam, if we could, because that's just about ready to roll on in there. I want to show the broader picture. You can see the rain, line of showers and thunderstorms now down to almost Owasso. Vaughn is in an area where there should be some pretty strong winds. Looking at his video, it's kind of hard to tell because he's driving right now. Vaughn, I'm going to go to you first and get an update. How's that right now in your area?
Well, I'd say I'm on Highway 20 headed towards Collinsville. The winds right here are not as strong as they were on 75 as I was coming south, but they are right at my back. They're west winds, and we're going to sample some of them here as I get to 169 because it should have caught me by then. But we'll get back with you once I get there.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And let's go over to Alan Crone, who has an update as well on some power outages. What's going on, Al?
Yeah, well, we've been tracking the thunderstorms as they moved across portions of the Sand Springs area. You heard Darren talking about those strong winds. And the power outage number has really started to come up in the last 15 minutes. So that's going to be in between Sand Springs and Prattville. That area reporting 3,000, almost 3,400 folks without power. There's also some power disruptions a little more to the north around the Copan vicinity, and then also further back to the west, closer to Burbank and some of those areas. Now, that would be some of the major power grids across the area. When we take a look at some of the county co-ops, there's a number of small outages in Osage County, Creek County, also in the Washington County area. So you're looking at the radar here. I want to mention a few things. While we still have the severe thunderstorm warning underway again for the metro right across the Rogers County area and also to the north, you can see those additional counties that have been added. The Ottawa County area back down to Jay and Grove for this severe thunderstorm watch will be in effect until 5. Storms are developing a little more to the south. So yesterday when we're trying to figure out this thing, it was one of the questions, how far south, Travis, would this thing go? And it looks like it's trying to build just a little bit more to the south, so just a slight heads up. Not saying that we're going to get severe weather around Okmulgee or Henrietta, but it looks like storms will be moving closer to that region within the next 45 minutes to an hour. And also, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago the development back behind this. It is not impossible that there could still be even 1 or 2 strong to severe storms behind this line around Mulhall to Stillwater. We saw that yesterday morning as well with the departing storm system. So this is primarily a very heavy rainfall maker. Also, the potential for those 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, even though it's not been widespread. This type of complex can sometimes do that. Right now it's been more sporadic. And when we take a look at the mesonet sites, Travis, we're seeing a lot of 30, 40, and 50 mile per hour winds along this.
All right. Hey, thanks, Al. I appreciate that. And so, as we continue to cover it, we have our storm teams all over the place. We are going to talk to Darren one more time. Let's zoom in where Darren is located at this moment. Heavy rain. We're getting booming thunder going on downtown. You see our lightning strikes here starting to hit downtown. We are basically right in this zone here, and you see a lot of that lightning happening. Darren, can you give us an update from your location?
Yeah, Travis, right here along 244, right here at the Harvard exit. I wanted to show you an example of what the wind does. These are some trees right along 244 there, and this is wind gusting anywhere from 40 to 53 miles an hour, Travis. So you expect a little bit of minor tree damage associated with this. And to reemphasize what Alan was saying about Prattville, Facebook post, a lot of people out there without power, Travis.
Yeah, unfortunately. And so as we continue to watch that coming across town, kind of like last night when we did have those, just kind of enough of a band of winds of 60 miles an hour to cause those problems. So as we look downtown, thanks, Darren, we'll be back with you in a little bit. Lightning strikes probably waking up a lot of folks. Remember, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect through 3:30. We're at 3:16 right now. We'll be checking in as well with Stacia a little bit later on the storm track, and then also with Alan with the latest on what's happening with our potential for any more power outages and any other additional information we have. So this is the heaviest rains right now, and you see kind of it's clustered across Tulsa, downtown, a little bit further to the south. As we slide a little bit further to the south, and we're looking at heavy rain showers and thunderstorms. Is the Owasso Cam up and running yet, or is that good? It is? Okay. How does that look? Can we go to weather 11 just for a moment? I'm kind of squirreling here on us a little bit, but you can kind of see the cloud deck right in this area, the shelf cloud coming across, and well, lightning strikes on that at time. Really in the last, I'd say, 10 minutes or so, that's just moving in on the west side of Owasso. So now your guys in Owasso might be waking up. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. That includes all of Tulsa County, and that includes you guys in Owasso as well. So winds up to 50, 60 miles an hour for you. And then down to the south, we're looking for moderate rain right now going on from Woodland Hills Mall. And then even down to the south, rain showers going on, and that goes down to around the Kiefer area. Let's see, JD is now in Bixby. JD, can you give me an update on what's going on right now in Bixby?
Yeah, right now in Bixby, you're getting winds around 30 to 35 miles an hour and just some moderate rain, sometimes heavy. The lightning is still on the decrease, looks like to me, down here on the southern end, Travis.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the southern end is weak. Some of the development Ellen was showing us down in Okfuskee County is a lot better. I was kind of hoping that everybody would get a widespread good shot of rain. You can see JD going up Memorial at this time. So if you're waking up in Broken Arrow, lightning strikes. I mean, check this out. And JD is not lying. It's really hard to find some lightning strikes. And then if we'll just pan back on up to right around the Tulsa area, it's still a pain. And we're looking at wind gusts still 40, 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. So we're with Vaughn on the north side. He's near Owasso. In fact, Vaughn is probably getting into some of that we were just seeing on the Owasso camera. Vaughn, if you could you give us a quick update on what's going on in your location?
Yeah, Travis, just about a minute ago, I had a power flash on the west side of 169. It's going to be down towards, I'm getting off on Highway 20, so it'd be down towards 106th or 96, somewhere in that area, but to the west of 169.
Okay.
So some pretty strong winds moving through here right now through Owasso.
All right. And a lot of lightning go with that. All right, Vaughn, thank you. Velocity indications are still in the Owasso area, if we could take a look at that. And so we still have some pretty strong winds. And so this is near the radar, or getting closer to the radar, so we're just a couple thousand feet off the ground at that. And so we should have some winds 60 miles per hour and possibly right in this zone. So we do want you to be advised for this, so don't be surprised if we're getting some wind gusts. Now, Vaughn's going to run right into that here momentarily, and we'll see if he gets ground confirmation of that, since that's just barely been above surface. So as we look at that, you can tell that it's very turbulent in this northern Tulsa County still at this time. Leading edge of it now extending almost to Claremore. So it's pretty much going to take it just to Verdigris area and just to the west of Claremore. And so you guys are going to get nailed here in a little bit. Of course, you're not probably going to wake up till it hits the house, and then as far as the wind, and shakes the windows a little bit, and then also lightning strikes. But lightning strikes are holding steady. And also, I wanted to look just south for 1 second, and then we're going to go to Stacia with an update on what's going on with the overall track of storms. And so this is, again, downtown Tulsa and down into the Broken Arrow area. A lot of the lightning strikes continue to be the downtown area, starting to expand now to the airport and just south of the airport and across Midtown and east sides of Tulsa. This is a severe thunderstorm, but it's kind of limited on how much severe there is in it. As we look at it, more of the velocity data showing that the higher wind speeds are to the north, and so we don't have quite as much to the south, but we do have moderate to heavy rain. Let's go to Stacia right now with a quick update on storm tracking.
Okay, thanks, Travis. Yes, I have updated that storm track for you, so we'll take a look on Links 3 here. Still keeping these storms at about 50 miles per hour as they move through the metro. That leading edge now is in Catoosa. It's moving in on the Creek Turnpike, but on the east side. So that's going to be on Broken Arrow, where the Muskogee Turnpike, the BA, and the Creek all meet up, and then it extends down to Bixby. So tracking this for you, and again, moving it about east at 50. Verdigris about 323, so you're starting to get some pretty heavy rainfall now in Verdigris. That rain's only going to pick up. You'll have lightning and some gusty winds. Claremore at about 327. So again, the same thing for Claremore. You have light rain now. You'll start to see that rainfall pick up. The lightning count will pick up as well, and you'll have some very heavy rainfall, some strong gusty winds moving in. Inola about 336. Porter just after that around 345. Pryor and Shoto, you guys will be closer to about 350. Wagner also around 350, and Lake Hudson at 350 as well. Travis, coming up, I'll put a track on the storms up to the north. We've had reports on Mesonet sites that those winds, they're coming down. They were up to 40 miles per hour, but now they're down to about upper 30s. And we've also had reports of power outages in Owasso. When you were looking at those velocities and those strong winds were coming through, we've had reports that there are a few folks in Owasso now without power.
All right. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Alan also has some information of what's going on with the power. Speaking of power, Alan, what do you have?
Yeah, power outages, again, as Stacia just mentioned, are coming up. The Owasso numbers will take a little bit to kind of filter into the system here. But as Vaughn mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, and you have been indicating as well, the stronger winds right now, they're starting to come down, but still around Collinsville, south to Owasso, right on 169 and 20. Those pockets of winds are moving east, so that'll be closer to Claremore in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And that seems to be some of the locations with the stronger winds. And then down through the Broken Arrow vicinity, the winds drop off a little bit. So the majority of that severe weather threat, we think, is still going to be around Catoosa, north to Owasso, pretty much where Vaughn is located right now. So this is the reflectivity display that you're used to seeing. As you're looking at this, we'll expand this to show you that thunderstorms still continue also to the north. Brandon's in the Coffeyville vicinity with storms. Storms are located also in the Craig County area, or soon to be in the Craig County area, moving out of Nowata that are still strong to severe. Yeah, then heavy rain back to Stillwater. Down to the south, McAllister, you follow Wilburton, Latimer, LaFleur County area, you're clear right now. There will probably be some storms that'll make it across I-40, including Okemah, Henrietta, Shakota, the Oak Mulligan, Muskogee. Muskogee area. You'll probably have some storms before this is all said and done, but most of the severe weather threats will be just to the north. Updates on the power outage numbers here. This is going to be around the Prattville area. This is 2,100. Just to the north now, this would be in Sand Springs, about 1,500 folks without power. Also now starting to show up in the Jinx area, Travis, 2,200. And yeah, 2,200 in the Jinx vicinity. And then also just to the east of Tulsa, we've got about 600 folks that are out, maybe just south of the airport around Highway 11. And there's sporadic power outages across some of the county electric co-ops, but those are the major grids right now closer into the metro.
All right. Hey, thanks, Alan. I want to go back into the Tulsa area just briefly and talk about the storms that are in Tulsa, because we're trying to find out. National Weather Service kind of trying to figure out if they're going to reissue. So let's help them out by a little bit by going to Vaughn. Let's zoom in around the Owasso area. First, we do have thunderstorm activity that's still going on here, and we have the heaviest rains just north. Vaughn, have you run into anything severe as far as wind speeds, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Winds right there in Owasso were at least 60 miles an hour. I had several power flashes in the Owasso area. So there's going to be power outages here. But we're going to, that was in basically around the 96 to 86 to 106. That area right there, Travis.
All right, good to know. Hopefully, if our friends at National Weather Service are listening, they'll continue with the severe thunderstorm warning for a little bit longer. So that is, again, winds estimated about where we anticipated. Stations put together here some of the locations where the winds have been that strong. So Vaughn just confirmed that winds of 60 miles an hour coming across the Owasso area. And still potential for more power outages in this area. A little bit further to the south, the winds are not as strong. We have the heaviest rains in Owasso, and then we have heavy rains now on the east side of Tulsa. Still a lot of lightning strikes going on in this area. Darren, there he is. Almost lost him. He's in Catoosa at this hour. And most likely, we'll talk to him in just a second, but most likely with the heavy rains in this area and further south, it has been a little bit weaker. So it seems like the Owasso area is probably the location that has been the most affected at this particular moment. But let's find out from Darren in Catoosa, and then we'll talk to JD about what's going on. Darren?
Yeah, Travis, coming through Catoosa right here, that transition zone just hit us as we got off of 244 there and merged into 66. And Jason had a hard time holding on the road. You had a brief gust up to 50, but now they have backed down 40 to 45 miles an hour. But no power flashes. Had a brief little bit of hail, a size of green peas, by the Hard Rock Casino, but that's the first hail and only hail that we have seen all evening, Travis.
I agree with that, man. That has been hard to find any. And I'm not going to complain when the wind's blowing 40 to 50 to 60 miles an hour. All right, thank you, Darren. Appreciate that. And a little bit further to the south with JD, and we're going to find out on the south sides of town what's going on. He is now, as you can see, located sitting not too far from around the creek. He is on the creek, and that is still some moderate to heavy rains on the south side. Also some moderate to heavy rains where he's going to run into. JD, anything changed from what you had before in Bixby?
Yeah, when I was going through downtown Bixby, in between the Arkansas River and 131st Street, I got a gust around 50 miles an hour, which kind of surprised me because it had really slacked off. So, but I didn't see any power flashes or any kind of wind damage. But there might have been some trampolines or garbage cans moved around with that. So we're going to continue east, and we'll get back to you, Travis.
All right, I appreciate it. So, again, severe thunderstorm warnings have been in effect in Tulsa until 3:30. We'll see if they're going to continue to issue that. And, it looks like probably the highest probability would be up around the Owasso area. South side here just hasn't had a ton going on. We do have at least some good rains in a few of these areas. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to monitor what's going on. We also have to find out a little bit more about some storm tracks that are going on as far as where it's headed. Let's go to, right now, Station with the latest.
Okay, good morning. I have a new storm track for you. We'll continue to move these off to the east at about 50. And again, we still have that severe warning in Tulsa. It's at 3:30, so here in the next minute or so, we'll find out if they do decide to continue it. It looks like as of now, up to the north, they're going to allow the warning to expire for Nowata and Washington counties. And it does look like they will allow it to expire for Tulsa, but we're going to keep these storms as strong. So they're going to still continue to be strong. They're going to provide some very heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. All right, back to our track here. And again, they're still moving at about 50, mostly to the east. So it's moving in on Coweta now. It'll It'll be in Haskell about 333, Inola around 344, and as it continues off to the east, it looks like it'll be in Big Cabin about 340 and Veneta about 349. So Big Cabin also around 349. What I did is a track for the whole entire line, as you can see here, so a wide track. And I'm also going to adjust it a little bit. We'll see if we can get it farther out here, kind of give you a better idea. It looks like it'll be in, again, Veneta about
very, very heavy rains as we're coming through Verdigris right now. We have winds here 40 to 45 miles an hour, but we're trying to inch a little bit further towards Claremore. We have an indication up there that there's a little bit stronger winds up there. We'll go up there and verify that, Alan.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing there on the radar as well. Still a pocket of maybe 50, close to 60-mile-per-hour winds. So Darren, again, is moving right up 66. He'll get into the Claremore area. Now, a little more to the south, we'll check in at the Broken Arrow vicinity and maybe check in with JD to see what he's experiencing. It looks like the stronger winds, for the most part, have been a little bit more to the north, but still anticipating some 40 to 50-mile-per-hour winds here. You can see JD is just south of BA, around the NSU campus there. JD, what are you experiencing?
Alan, we're just experiencing some heavy rain and a little bit of ponding on the Creek Turnpike, but the winds and the lightning has really diminished. I mean, maybe 20-mile-per-hour winds, Alan. So things are improving on the south end. Back to you.
All right. Appreciate it very much, J.D. McManus. Now, what we're going to do, we mentioned this a couple of minutes ago, even though this is the leading edge, even though this is the leading edge of the complex, back behind it, we still have the potential for some strong to severe storms. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued from our friends out of the Norman office of the National Weather Service. This is going to be for part of Payne County and then also into the Lincoln County area. You see that storm that extends right down 177 from Stillwater to Perkins into Kearney, and it's moving generally east. It might slide slightly south of east, but most of the movement has been to the east. That will also have the potential for some 55, 65-mile-per-hour winds, maybe a little bit of small hail. These have primarily been wind-producing storms and also some very heavy rainfall. So you can see part of that would impact portions of Stillwater, but it looks like the stronger velocities will more than likely be riding through here from Perkins back down to the Kearney area. So the reason we mention it is because this would have the potential to continue on and maybe get back into the western Creek County area as well within the next 35 to 45 minutes. So that is the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have currently at this point. We also mentioned down to the south around the Okemah area and Henrietta, showers and storms here. They are diving a little bit to the south and east. So notice Calvin and McAllister, you follow Chakotah, Muskogee, you are dry right now, but the anticipation is that some of this will slide a little more to the east-southeast. And it could get slightly stronger, but it doesn't appear that it will pulse up to severe weather levels right now. To the north, this is Muskogee and Wagner, Chouteau, Pryor, and Adair and Veneta. We'll let Stacia put a track on her source here in just a minute and give us an update on where those storms are going to be heading here in the next 25 to 30 minutes. And then a little more to the north, you can see the edge of this does not look very tight at all. So the winds are sliding out ahead of this. That tends to disrupt the updrafts a little bit. So that's why those storms currently are below severe level criteria and probably will remain so. But from Veneta right up 59, Brandon's ahead of that in the southern Kansas area as well. All of the counties that you see highlighted here in blue, that's a severe thunderstorm watch that's going to be in effect until 5 o'clock, meaning conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms in and close to the area. The strongest storm, and again, not impossible to see, again, additional severe storms developing behind this line, and that's what we have right now. So the only severe thunderstorm warning now, Stillwater, and also into the Perkins area. So Stacia, give us an update. You can track the leading edge there and maybe also where that Stillwater storm is going to head.
Okay, Alan, I will do that. So let's take a look at Links 3 here. I have this track set up for the leading edge of this. These are the storms that moved through the Tulsa metro. They're continuing to move off to the east, and I'm going to keep it at about 50 miles per hour. So right now, the Claremore area, I-44, Will Rogers Turnpike down to Verdigris and Catoosa, kind of in the middle of this batch of thunderstorms. And so this will again extend off to the east. It's moving into Coweta here pretty soon as well. Now, I have a track here Pryor about 346, Chouteau around the same time, so 345, 346. That's in the next about 7 to 8 minutes. Adair will also be just before 350. Wagner, you guys will be dealing with these storms around 350 as well, and you're going to be on the south side of the storm, so I don't think it's going to be as strong for you. Remember, those stronger winds were up around the Claremore area, Highway 20 leading into Claremore, coming down a little bit, but those stronger winds were up to the north, kind of on the northern portion of this. So the south side not dealing with as strong of thunderstorms, but you're still going to have heavy rain and quite a bit of lightning. This is going to wake you up. It's not severe anymore, but it is still a strong thunderstorm, and it will continue again moving to the east. So Salina, Locust Grove just before 4 o'clock, Langley also at 4 o'clock. And I'm just going to update this track here very quickly, kind of extending it a little bit farther out. So Jay, just south of Grand Lake, that'll be about 4:15 to 4:20, I would say. All right, so that's a track on those storms here. I'm going to zoom out. We're going to go back to the severe storm around Stillwater to Perkins to Kearney. This one is moving east, really east-southeast, and so I'm going to do a live track here, so bear with me as I draw that. And then I'm going to move it off to the east-southeast at about 50 again. I'm going to kind of give it more of a maybe a southeasterly track there. All right, so let's extend this out. So Shamrock, this is going to be moving to your location. This could impact the Bristow area towards Welty in northern Okfuskee County, but this could, as Alan had mentioned, move back into Creek County. So Oilton, Olive, Shamrock, Bristow, Stroud, you guys will all have to deal with this. So it should be in the Stroud area just before 4 o'clock. This is the one severe storm that we still have going on. So this is going to be kind of producing those stronger winds, of course, heavy rain and quite a bit of lightning. The storms that moved through the Tulsa Metro back to the east, the leading edge, these are not severe anymore, but they still are pretty strong and could produce some strong winds. And remember that the strongest winds that we have at this time are still up around the Claremore area where Vaughn and Darren are located. They've definitely come down, though, Alan, as you can see. I can back this up to where we had those blue colors on our velocities, where the winds were stronger, about 320, and then extending that now to the current time. They've definitely come down a little bit.
All right, Stacia, appreciate that greatly. Again, Vaughn and Darren right in the middle of that. But we want to point out again what Stacia mentioned. The significant severe storm now is still starting to strengthen. It's getting stronger from Stillwater back down to the Caney's in southern Oklahoma, Perkins area. And that's going to slide east, maybe a little to the south and east. Heavy rainfall, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. The potential here for some 60, 65-mile-per-hour winds. And again, it's starting to bulge out here just a little bit, so some wind damage threats are coming up just a little bit. As we take this and slide it back out, I do want to mention again, even though we have just now pockets of moderate to heavy rain, we're getting reports in and around the Broken Arrow vicinity, southern Tulsa County, part of southern Wagner County, of a large number of power outages now that are starting to pile up. I think at last check was close to 6,000 folks now without power in this general area. So that's going to be around the Broken Arrow vicinity, Coweta, Glenpool, maybe southern Tulsa County, the southern or western part of the Wagner County area. So yeah, still about 6,000 out there.
6,500 now, and those are PSO customers.
PSO customers, 6,500 scattered throughout the area. And again, sometimes it's kind of hard to count all of this, but some of the smaller electric co-ops, you'll have 10, 15, 20, 25 folks without power in almost all of these counties. So if I don't mention your county in terms of the power outages, we are aware that you're having some of that, but the majority of those higher power outage issues right now are right in this general area. So this has kind of become very outflow dominant. It's lost its severity levels, but still producing maybe some 40 to 50 mile-per-hour winds as it moves from Rogers County into the Choteau, Pryor, Adair vicinity. Veneta, some rain, thunderstorm activity again starting to weaken quite a bit. It's not going to be severe. Miami Pitcher area, some rain soon in about an hour. Jay and Grove as well. Back to the Tulsa Metro. So you can get maybe a little bit of sleep here before you have to get to work. The only thing we'll be watching is that storm back to the south-southwest. This is just rain. The lightning count has really dropped down. You can kind of see we're back down to about 18 strikes now. To the south-southwest, this is, again, the stronger storm. This is the one that we're going to have to monitor, and this is going to be around Stillwater to Kearney. It will have the potential to move east. It might slide slightly south of east, but this could slide back into portions of Creek County and maybe even the Tulsa County area within the next hour or so, because it does look like that it's going to continue to get stronger. So that's one that we're going to have to watch here quite a bit. To the north again, we'll check out Bartlesville. Some rain still coming down. That's not significant nor severe. Sedan, Coffeyville rain. Thunderstorm activity around southeastern Kansas, and Brandon has been in that area just about all evening long. You can see his view there. He's not into a lot of rain, and looks like the wind speeds have really dropped off, Brandon, in your region.
Yeah, Alan, that's right. Yeah, we're just getting some very light rainfall right now, and the lightning hasn't really been very impressive either. But one thing I can say is the winds are probably estimating sustained right now about 35 with some gusts in there close to maybe 50. It's rocking the truck back and forth as I head south here on 59. We'll stay with it, Alan.
Okay, Brandon, we appreciate it. Appreciate all the folks that have been out all night long tracking these showers and storms, including into the Claremore area right now. That's going to be where the stronger storms were located, about 10 to 15 still down, but we'll get the real deal report from you and see what's happening.
Yeah, Alan, you're 100% right. This thing has really cranked down on its intensity. It's been several moments since we've even seen a lightning strike. Big thing now is the flooding along I-44. It's very intense rainfall going on here, but wind 35 to 40 mile an hour gusts. But we'll keep watching this all the way back into Tulsa. Alan, back to you.
All right, Darren, appreciate it. Again, both Darren and Vaughn mentioning the pockets of moderate to heavy rain. You know, the good thing is we still are a couple hours away from the big morning commute, so a lot of that will have a chance to get off the roadways. But if you do have to be at work here around the 4:30 or 5 o'clock hour for the early morning shift, keep that in mind. Now, we're going to go back to the west-southwest. This is, again, a significant storm, still fairly strong storm here, and it looks like the majority of the severe weather threat is going to be right in through here, just south of Perkins on 177, north of Meeker. It's going to stay north of the Shawnee area if you have concerns there. It's moving east, and the potential for maybe some 60-mile-per-hour winds. On occasion, the algorithm will show some hail, but we've had very few hail reports through the overnight hour. And we'll put a track on this moving to the east, so that would make it around Drumright, Shamrock, Depew, Bristow, the western Creek County area. It is moving generally to the east at around 50, almost 60 miles per hour. And when you start to see the movement in a storm at 50 or 60 miles per hour, that's a good proxy. I mean, you pretty much can anticipate the top-end wind gusts that could be close to 50 and 60 miles per hour. So, Stacia, it looks like if it holds together, this severity, well, where do you think it's going to end up in terms of maybe the next hour and 15 minutes?
Well, Alan, this could move back into portions of Creek County, especially on the south side of Creek County now with a stronger portion of that storm. So I have a couple tracks here for you. Remember the severity, the severe part of this storm is going to be around the Kearney area, so kind of that south side from Kearney all the way down to Chandler. But what I did is I put a track here for you on this, and so we're going to click here. It's going to be in Bristow. Now that's going to be about 4:11, so you have about 20-25 more minutes for the Bristow area before the storm is expected to move in. It's moving east at about 50, and also what I want to point out is there's a few storms just south of Chandler that the strong part of the storm, the severe part, is actually sucking up those storms. So that tells you that this portion from Kearney to Chandler, this is going to be the main storm, and it's strong enough that it's actually going to eat up some of those storms around Meeker to Shawnee. So I can kind of put that, take the laps back here, and you can see that. So watch those storms that kind of develop around 177 south of Chandler, and it kind of gets merged in and kind of sucked into that storm. So this storm is probably going to stay pretty strong, Alan, if not severe, as it does move into Creek County. And I kept the track at east, so this would be around the Stroud area at about 3:54, so that'll be in the next 10 minutes or so. Drumright about 3:58, also in the next 10 minutes. Depew around 4:04, and again Bristow around 4:11. Alan, if it continues, then I think it could have actually maybe get into northwestern Okmulgee County, maybe even the far south sides of Tulsa County again.
Okay, and that's the strongest storm we have in terms of the severe weather threats right now. And it does appear it might be coming down just a little bit, but not much. So riding through here, still severe, continuing to move generally to the east. So that is something we're going to have to track. It's behind the leading edge, which shows there's still quite a bit of forcing still with the system. And, of course, we have extreme high moisture content across northern and eastern Oklahoma. You felt that earlier, I guess, yesterday. with a heat index of about 100, 102. That's what we're going to experience again today. By the way, I was working on the data for the forecast about an hour and a half ago. Still looks like Friday we could have heat index numbers from 105 to 110, maybe 111, and that would trigger a heat advisory as we get into Friday. So let's set the stage very quickly here. We're at 3:47 in the morning. There's no severe weather right now from Tulsa area to Bartlesville. That's just rain. Osage County, the rain is still coming down. Lightning strikes have really dropped off. Heavier rains now from Stillwater, 177 south to Kearney and Meeker. This moving east. That's the severe storm that we have currently, and you can see these spotty showers and storms here. So the environment just to the east of the metro is less favorable for maintaining this big storm complex. Soon, heavy rainfall up to the north around the southern Kansas vicinity as well. And as we take a look a little more down to the south here, I'm running station ragged here back and forth, you can see the showers of storms that are just mainly rain right now through the Okmulgee area. Back to the west, that's the stronger storm. And then we'll check out Henrietta, Chakotay, Eufaula, McAllister, Latimer, Pittsburgh County area. You might have some thunderstorm activity in the next 15 or 20 minutes getting closer to Henrietta and Dustin, but it wouldn't be severe. So right in through here around Sapulpa, 33 back to the west, the next 45 minutes to an hour. Need to be advised that the potential is there for that stronger storm. As we zoom in very quickly here, we'll take a look. This is just rain, but this is the area that we're continuing to see some of those high numbers regarding the power outage issues. And at last check, we were about 6,000. What does it look like now, Stacia?
Alan, that number's up to about 6,500, but those are PSO customers in the metro. So we've had sporadic outages as those strong winds did move through. We're actually still getting reports of strong winds in the viewing area, and some of those reports are coming in up to the north, right around where Brandon is located. Now, he's up around Veneta, kind of on the north side of Veneta, but the Mesonet site in Veneta has reported a 48-mile-per-hour wind gust. So we're going to check on those power outages outside of the metro. But again, PSO customers here in Tulsa have been dealing with about 6,500. There are 6,500 customers right now reportedly without power. So if you wake up this morning and you don't have power, the strong to severe storms that move through the metro, probably the reason why. And again, you're not going to be the only one, because there's about 6,500 others that are without power this morning. Our storm trackers continue to be out, but as these storms, especially the leading edge from Veneta to Adair, Pryor, Choteau down to Wagner, these storms are strong, but they're not severe. We do have one severe storm that is still back to the west, and that's around Kearney to Chandler. That will move eastward, and that could be in northern Okfuskee County, far southern Creek County, if it holds together. But right now, that's the strongest storm, and that could cause some power outages, Alan, as that storm does move through those areas. But right now in the metro, there's about 6,500 customers so far, and we'll continue to update that for you.
All right, Stacia, appreciate it very much. I tell you what we could do. If we could take Lynx 1 very quickly, take a look at Lynx 1. This is a really good way to just get you a snapshot of what's happening here. All of the counties that are highlighted here, that's severe thunderstorm watch that's underway, and that's the warning right now that we have coming out of the Lincoln County area. This is why Stacia is indicating the potential for maybe that storm to impact portions of western Creek County if it continues to hold its intensity level. Okay, so back to 4. And we'll show you, again, the storms that are strong to severe: Stillwater, Cushing, Yale area, just south of Pawnee, and then back all the way back down to Meeker, right in through here. That storm, again, the potential for maybe some 50, 60-mile-per-hour winds. You can kind of see there. We'll take a look at some of that. There's some stronger winds right in through here, maybe also as around the Agra vicinity, right down 177. And again, that will continue to move generally to the east. So that's something we're going to be watching here over the next 15, 20 minutes or so. It's 3:52 in the morning, 3:52 in the morning. Some gusty winds are still indicated through some of that thunderstorm activity through the north and eastern sections around Veneta and Adair and Pryor and Choteau. Brandon had been reporting some gusty winds. about 15, 20 minutes ago, and that's an area that, from a reflectivity standpoint, doesn't show too much. But let's check in with Brandon. He's around Highway 59 north of Veneta, maybe around the Blue Jacket vicinity. Brandon?
Yeah, Alan, that's right. Right now, I would estimate the winds at my current location to be anywhere from probably, I would say, 35 with some gusts of close to 45 as I might make my way south. It really is rocking the truck pretty hard. So the winds are pretty gusty here at our current location. The rainfall, though, has been moderate to heavy and street flooding, but we'll stay with it. Alan?